Welcome back to Module 3, and this is our last unit for our mini course, and this particular topic will be on customer service. In this unit, we'll review your charter customer service to include screening clients, taking requests, the booking process, trips in progress, which are called active flights, and post-flight activities. Gathering as much information as possible from clients and maintaining detailed records throughout the request and active flight process is imperative to provide excellent customer service, but also contributes to the safety of flight operations. So on the initial inquiry, screening clients, we want to find out basically right from the beginning, have they ever chartered an aircraft or helicopter before? We want to find out what kind of experience that they had because they might prefer a particular aircraft or helicopter type, or perhaps they had a bad experience with a particular aircraft or helicopter type. So we want to gather that kind of information. We want to find out, do they have a budget in mind? And so we just want to learn as much as we can right from the beginning what their experience was on their previous year charter flights, so we can help them either make sure they have a great charter flight in the future or take care of any issues that might have happened in the past that gave them a negative experience. But on the other hand, if somebody hasn't chartered before, just like this particular course, we want to provide them some basics of an education on how the process works, especially when it comes down to pricing, because as we all know, it is not inexpensive. So right from the beginning, it's important that we gather the firm flight dates. Sometimes clients are a little bit flexible with their schedules if they're looking for maybe some special pricing or empty leg opportunities, but we want to find out what their firm flight dates are. Clearly, we want to find out where what their origin is from and destination is for their cities and airports. And we also want to find out if they're flexible as far as their departure points and arrival points. One reason being, for example, if a client's leaving Vegas and coming back to Los Angeles, there's curfews involved with certain airports, so we want to find out if they're willing to fly to a different airport if there is a time constraint with a particular airport's operations. So we certainly want to find out what their departure or arrival times are. It's important also to find out, because we talked about duty time and the pilot times in the regulation, but more the duty times is critical. So if you have a group of executives and they're trying to do a number of meetings in one day, we want to get an idea if those meetings are going to be firm or could they be an issue with some delays in meetings and travel and such. So sometimes a client may try to pack too much of a travel day in a particular charter, and then that can become a problem if there's any kind of delays with meeting with clients or traffic and that kind of thing coming to and from the airport. So it's important we work with our clients to understand departure and arrival times. Number of passengers, certainly critical, and that's a big consideration when we start trying to give some options on different airplanes, whether it's going to be realistic or not. And why we want to be sensitive to the weight of passengers if we're utilizing a smaller airplane, such as the CJ3 that we looked at, light jet, and it seats up to 8 passengers. Sometimes it's not going to make sense to put, say, 8 football players that are all big guys in that plane. It may be some weight constraints there. And that especially gets true when you start looking at the luggage and the number of bags and any weight or any large items. So it's really critical that we gather that kind of information to find out what that's all about as far as, or skis or anything unusual that we want to find out about. Another thing is pets. We have a business, and I'm the founder of a company called Pet Jets, where we fly pets and their owners quite often. So we want to find out what kind of pets there are, because certain operators may not want to fly specific types of pets, and so we need to gather that kind of information. But if they have an aircraft preference, we need to figure out what that is, what kind of size, type or model that they've flown or might like in the future or for that particular flight. And then special requests, certainly regarding any kind of catering, Wi-Fi, entertainment. For some of the mid-size aircraft, they may want a flight attendant. We're on most of the large jets and certainly VIP airliners, we have flight attendants, but sometimes folks like to have flight attendants on that. But any special requests, you might have somebody who's wheelchair bound that we need to know about, or some elderly clients that might need some special assistance, and sometimes the stairs to aircraft can be an issue and problem. So gathering all the details is really what we need to find out and do during taking the request. So once we gather all this information, it's really kind of putting a puzzle together and coming up with some options for the clients as far as what's going to be the best aircraft to suit their needs. If they don't have a preference, certainly taking in consideration pricing. And so it really takes the expertise and knowledge of folks that have been doing this for a while to put this information, and that's exactly what our charter analysts do here at LABA International. So once we have a couple different options for the client, normally the client will select the option that they like and accept that offer. We send a contract to the client for signature, and then once the booking process is completed and the contracts are taken care of, then a trip sheet will be emailed to the agent or the client, typically 48 hours prior to the flight, which will contain all the aircraft type information, a registration number, the crew names and details, and then the arrival and departure points as far as the fixed base operations that are going to be utilized. And of course, any details as far as any catering or ground transportation that's been arranged will be noted on those trip sheets. Once the aircraft charter is started, there's flight following. So our team here at LABA will flight follow and provide movement messages, whether they're electronically or verbal, to keep clients updated as far as the departure and arrival times. And this all works in concert with making sure ground transportation is standing by, or in the event if it's a fuel stop and there's catering standing by, we want to make sure catering is ready to go. But mostly for the ground transportation and making sure everybody's in concert together. So the operations team will continue tracking the aircraft and will email the landing time once the aircraft arrives at its destination, or certainly give a call verbally if that's what's required. So customer service is key for a successful and safe air charter, and it takes a team of individuals working together to document and clearly communicate the details and due diligence required for each trip. It's important from the initial air charter inquiry to gather as much information from the client as possible in order to provide the best air charter option as far as aircraft, flight crew, and price to meet the travel demands of the client. Maintaining good notes and providing clear and concise communication is also paramount. The responsibility and safety of each flight ultimately rests in the hands of the flight crew and the captain as the pilot in command. Providing excellent customer service to the clients as well as all individuals involved with each flight, to include the crew, aircraft maintainers, and other vendors, will assure a safe and successful flight. And I want to congratulate you for completing this unit as well as the previous 3 modules, and successful completion of the quiz at the end of this module will mean that you'll have earned your certificate and completed Air Charter 101. So we thank you for taking this mini course and hope you found it beneficial, and look forward to serving your air charter needs in the future with LABA International. Thanks so much.